Welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show, News Talk, 95.1 FM, 790 AM KFYO. Broadcasting from the Culligan Water Studios, better water, pure and simple. Now we get to switch gears a little bit. We've got a lot of good football games that are going to be going on throughout West Texas, and joining us to talk about those games and maybe some of the games that have already occurred, it's Stephen Orr with the West Texas Friday Night Scoreboard Show. Hey, Stephen.
Good morning. And in your career, how many times have you gotten a report on a sinkhole?
Not many. It hasn't happened a lot, I can tell you that.
I tell you what, we need to, with as much rain as we've had, there could be an issue in some football fields tonight as well.
You think so? It'll be slippery in some of those games.
On the ones that are still played on God's grass, it could be a sloppy track tonight.
Hey, that's football.
It is.
That's football. That's what we like to see.
It can make things interesting, especially with the way people like to throw the ball these days and some of that stuff. It can certainly be a leveling factor depending on the type of offense you play. So
that's right.
A little harder to cut, turns into a little more power football. Yeah. But I do think, based on what weather I've seen, looks like for the most part, we shouldn't have water falling from the sky during the game.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to clear out this afternoon and be, maybe cool in some places, but otherwise pretty nice night for football.
Well, it is the 29th day of September.
It is.
It's okay to take a jacket.
It is.
But, man, some good games and some districts kicking off play as well over this week and next week. We'll see some of the bigger districts ramp up. Of course, next week, dead week, where probably half the teams that we normally cover will have an open week. So we'll cut our scores down. We'll cover probably about 100 to 115 games next week. But
is that it?
Yeah,
okay.
Cut it in half. But you'd be surprised. It seems like there's not a whole lot going on. But we'll also have some previews next week on the Scoreboard Show, just going around with our different affiliates and play-by-play guys and getting some ideas of how the district races stack up across West Texas. And that's always a fun show to do because it's kind of a reset on the season. Reset for Friendship starts tonight as they take on Odessa Permian. Not necessarily.
It's going to be a difficult one.
Well, Friendship comes in still looking for their first win of the season. Permian 3-0 on the year so far. Ooh. And they had a game. They were supposed to play a team out of New York last week, and that game fell through, got canceled. So they're not only is Permian coming in with a perfect record, they're coming in essentially with a bye week.
Yeah.
So Friendship certainly going to have their hands full. You've got Midland Lee and other teams in that district playing Midland Lee, taking on Midland High. The Rebels of Midland Lee, as long as they can keep that name, are 4-0 on the year. The Bulldogs are 0-4 on the year. You've got Amarillo Tascosa taking on Odessa High, and the Amarillo High is Amarillo Tascosa is 4-0 on the year. Odessa High at 2-2, and then you've got San Angelo Central at 4-0. That's taking the week off, so should get some indication really quickly if those 4-0 records, the 3-0 record, how those stand. We get to start comparing, but I think that's going to be a really tough district. And Friendship, when they took that step up to 6A, they've stepped into a really hard situation for any team, and then to have maybe slipped a little bit in the talent or whatever as they have. It's been a long year or two for them, but we know they'll be back eventually.
It'll be interesting to see how they regroup, how some of these teams regroup. Dropping
down to District 3-5A, Plainview is the only local team in that, or the area team in that district. They'll take on a winless Amarillo Paladura team trying to start their district season off with a win. They're 1-2 on the year, and Plainview's been in. They've played pretty tough in a couple of their games, a win and one of the losses, and then got their doors taken off in the other one. So it'll be interesting to see. But Paladura has struggled all year long, and I think that the Bulldogs could get themselves a win there. Drop into District 4. That's the Lubbock area, and they've still got a couple more weeks before they kick off district play tonight. San Angelo Lakeview hosting Lubbock Estacada out of District 1 of 4A, and Lakeview still looking for their first win of the year. Lubbock Estacada is at 3-1 on the year and playing really good football. And I think probably after tonight, if Estacada if they'll take care of business, get off the bus intending to play a game, they should come home with another win there. Yeah. A really good game there in Lubbock has the Shallow Water Mustangs 3-0 on the season, playing the Lubbock High Westerners at 1-3. Lubbock High starts their season off with a win over 4A Seminole, a team that's expected to be in the playoffs come the end of the year, and then they've struggled to match that in the next 3 games. They're going to have to play good defense. Lubbock's big problem has been giving up too many points, and they're going to have to shore up that defense in a Shallow Water team that's much improved over last year. But that has the chance to be a really good football game. Another game taking place there in Lubbock has the Lubbock Cooper Pirates hosting Clovis, New Mexico. Clovis comes in with a 3-1 record out of New Mexico there, and Lubbock Cooper with a 3-1 record. But I'll tell you what, Clovis is a team that makes deep runs in the playoffs every year in the New Mexico State playoffs, and so is Texas better than New Mexico? I mean, we'll see, but Clovis is a good team. That's going to be a challenging game for Cooper. I think they come out on top in the end, but that's a good ball game as well. Lubbock Coronado and Lubbock Monterey both have open dates this week. Well, then when we get into next week, Coronado and Monterey will play, and everybody else in that district will be in their bye week, and then we get ready for district play there. 4A game that's pretty interesting has Levelland hosting Snyder. Levelland coming off a big win over Brownfield last week. Now they get a 1-3 Snyder team, and I think Levelland has finally maybe solved some things on offense. They seem to really be clicking last week, and I think they're going to be too much for Snyder. Snyder struggled on the offensive side of the ball all year long, and unless they can find an answer for that, I don't think they can stay with Levelland. Drop down into 3A, and the Idalou Wildcats. This is a really interesting game that they're hosting the Muleshoe Mules. And normally when we're talking about this game, this would be a candidate for our FiberMax quality matchup of the week. You know, teams coming in undefeated or with just one loss. Right now, between the two teams, there's one win. Muleshoe is 0-4 on the year, and Idalou at 1-3, and both teams have just struggled to put things together. So this is a great opportunity for one of them to build a little bit of momentum going into the bye week, and then hopefully start off their district campaign in a different mode. I think Idalou has the advantage in this one, and I look for them to improve to 2-3 on the year after tonight's ball game. Littlefield, another team that we're not usually talking about with a losing record, they're 1-3, and they host the Stratford Elks, 2A team from up in the top of the Texas Panhandle. Stratford always a team that we're talking about in the playoffs, are always a really solid football team. So a really stout contest for Littlefield in that one tonight. Then Slayton travels down to Post to take on Post. Slayton's got a 2-2 record. They started off their season with 2 wins, and they've lost back-to-back, and they take on a Post team that's 3-1. Post's only loss was to Abernathy, state-ranked Abernathy, by 3 points first game of the season. So the Tigers will have their hands full when they get down to Post tonight to take on Post in that ball game. New Deal is 4-0 on the year. They won a big ball game last night against a Panhandle team, a team in Sunray, and they take on a winless Tulia team tonight in New Deal. I think New Deal will probably go into their bye week with a perfect 5-0 record. You have Lubbock Roosevelt hosting the Floydada Whirlwinds. This is another one where Floydada is 1-3 on the year. Lubbock Roosevelt 0-4, and both of these teams needing a win to build just a little bit of momentum going into the playoffs. Abernathy travels up to Memphis. Again, Abernathy 3-0 on the year, state ranked in the top 10, taking on a 3-1 Memphis Cyclones team that's, after stumbling against Olton their first week of the season, they put together 3 pretty nice wins, but I think that's going to be a pretty handy game for Abernathy. A game that really has my attention is Hale Center hosting Bovina. Bovina comes in 3-1 on the year. The Hale Center Owls are 4-0 on the year and playing some of the best football that they've played in several years, and Bovina is as well. Bovina's only loss is to a Friona team that's 4-0 on the year, 4-0 on the year right now, and that was a close game. And I think that'll be one to watch there in Hale Center as they try to go into their bye week with a perfect record intact. Also, Sundown in that same District 2 of 2A is 4-0 on the year, and they take on the Tahoka Bulldogs at 2-2, and the Roughnecks look to be set up for a pretty solid I think that'll be a pretty good game for them as well. And they could very well, in that one district, you could have 4 teams out of 6 going into the bye week with a perfect record.
Wow. Sounds like some pretty good games tonight. What are 1 or 2 of those must-see games if people want to get out and see some football this evening?
If you want to drive up I-27, I think Health Center Bovina really has a chance to be an excellent football game. Health Center plays wide-open football. They really move the ball well. That could be a good game. And a little closer to home, I'd like to go see Lubbock Cooper play Clovis. Like I said, Clovis is a state powerhouse in New Mexico. The Pirates are 3-1 on the year, and I think that could be a really good game. Also, I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Shallow Water and Lubbock. I think Lubbock High, cliche time, is a better team than what their record might indicate.
Well, everybody thought, it was a big surprise, that first game of the season for Lubbock High.
I really thought they put it together, and I think they have that if they can just find it there, but I don't know that Shallow Water is the team to do that because talk about a one-year turnaround. From where that team was this time last year to where they are this year, it's night and day difference, and I expect them to be strong and to make a decent run in the playoffs as well.
Stephen, I don't know if there's a way for you to that will know this for sure, but I want you to make a prediction, okay? In Garland, Texas, yesterday, they saw some kids taking a knee, high school football kids taking a knee. You think we'll see any of that out here in West Texas?
Man, Chad, you're trying to. I hope not.
Yeah,
I hope not.
I don't think we will. I don't think we'll see any of that out here.
I don't think we will, but you never know.
Yeah.
The thing is did they even know what the heck they're doing? And I'm going to say no.
I agree. I agree with you. I think that, and that's one of the things that I think is wrapped up in all of this is that when you were a kid and playing football, whatever level it was, whether it was, before high school, before junior high, but whatever level you were playing football, you imitated your favorite player, right? You imitated the guys who were doing it on Sunday, and I wonder if that's going to be wrapped up in any of this where, I do think part of that in Garland you had, but also I wonder, for the kids who don't understand what's going on, if they just see their favorite football player, linking arms or taking a knee, they might say, why don't we do it as well?
Well, and the problem is, I believe, this is my personal opinion, it's worth actually exactly what it costs, but they're doing it because it's a fad, and that is absolutely the wrong reason to make decisions in our life across the board, much less in this scenario. But, I guess some people, I think, they think they're trying to promote something, but they don't. It doesn't make any sense. If it doesn't change anything, why do it?
Yeah.
I'm sure you can guess where I stand on the deal. But the thing is, when I was a kid, if I'd have done something like that, my dad would have come out of the stands and he'd have taken care of it. It wouldn't have been up to a coach or anybody else. It would have been up to my dad.
Well, it may have been a battle between your coach and your dad to see who would have got to you first.
No, my dad would have won that one.
Okay.
Of course, the other side of that, and I'm skewed a little bit. My dad served in the Air Force.
Yeah.
No way ever could that happen for me.
Yeah.
But that's me. So.
Stephen Orr, West Texas Friday Night Scoreboard Show. As always, appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Hey, Chad, I appreciate it, and always good talking to you.